Hey friends of the earth, this is Waylon. I am in the process of moving to the Midwest, and I'm back in Boulder, Colorado for the week. And one of the things I missed the most, which is not a Midwest Colorado thing, it's just we're lucky in Boulder that some entrepreneurs got together and started a zero-waste grocery and didn't quit kind of thing. So I just thought, well, it might be instructive to go through a few of the basic things I'm always getting when I go to the zero-waste grocery store. And when you go to normal grocery stores, there's tons of things you can get in glass or tin or other kinds of containers that are not toxic, that are not bad for us, that are not bad for our children, that are not bad for our future, our planet's future. And then there will be just a few random things I want to mention, like fellows, 99% of electric tea kettles, you're boiling plastic. So a lot of this is about plastic, but if you don't really care about plastic, it's good to remember that, like, here's a glass dealio, smoothie maker, soup maker, whatever. Plastic is toxic. It is funded by and pushed by big oil because it's made of oil, and it's a fossil fuel, and it's directly feeding climate crisis. So my wife and I are pregnant, mostly her. I would say all her, of course, but we're expecting, and so we want to give a stable, healthy planet to our child, not one that is cracking and falling apart and all that. So here's some of the things I got in New Foods. Now this is plastic, but it is a big old bucket of chips. And then what do I do when I'm done with it? I return the chips. I mean, the opposite, I return the bucket. So these are black bean tortilla chips. Most of what I get, these is a Native American owned company. Most of what I get is organic and or local and or zero waste. And zero waste is a term just meaning not kind of what it sounds like. You're not perfect, but you're trying. I also bring everything in my huge but super light bike panniers. Pannier? It's a French word. All right, pasta. I just realized that in the Midwest where we're moving, all pasta is in cardboard, but then someone decided to have plastic see-through little windows. So it's impossible, basically, to get zero-waste pasta, including at the farmers markets. So again, you go through this. This was $3 or $4, and then you return the jar, and you get some money back for the jars. That's how it works. One thing we just cannot seem to find in Indianapolis is this magical thing is a dish soap block, and I bought a little holder for it so it doesn't get wet. But this is kind of what it looks like over at my lovely sink many months later. So why don't you want it to get wet? Because then you go through it super fast. You want to go through it really slow. So they can last like a year. You just rub it and then, and you can see no plastic. You can actually change the heads here when they get tired. Spend less money, create less waste. All right, just thought it might be instructive or interesting. So all sponges are plastic. We may not think about that. They accumulate germs really well. These little guys are plastic free. They're compostable. Compostable is very different than biodegradable. If you read that something's biodegradable, don't get it. That means it's plastic, and that means that it is going to break up into little pieces, which is actually what we don't want plastic to do, because then it's microplastics. Then it's getting in our bloodstream, it's getting in our water, it's getting in our rain, it's getting in our brains, it's getting in our milk that we give to our babies. All right, here's a whole bunch of stuff. Frozen edamame. Guac, covered with a little layer of lime so it doesn't brown. Mango. Lovely. Sorry, the diversity of these popcorn kernels would be called woke by the Trump administration, but popcorn. It's also very hard to get popcorn zero waste, which is funny. Dishwasher powder. This is a magical thing to find. It's the equivalent of 8 million gallons of liquid dishwasher stuff. vegan butter, which is just as good as the real thing for popcorn, toast, whatever. And then there's Miyoko's, which we love, but it's not zero waste. It's wrapped in plastic. And that is actually as good as the real thing for other uses. This is a little adorable little wooden scoop for the dishwasher powder or the laundry powder. If this is super boring, you've tuned out. I get it. All right, these are big, heavy. They're not that heavy. They're pretty light, but they're really well made. Stainless steel tiffins, the Indian word. But these are basically like what the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts had. For my wife, if, she's having a lovely meal but doesn't want to overeat. Unlike me, I overeat all the time. Then she can put this in a to-go container, bring it home. This can go directly on the stove, which is a cool bonus. Here's a small one for me to carry around for her, so if I find really good things, I can get them for her. Now I have to give out a shout to Whirly Pop. I have to, not because they're a sponsor, which they're not, but because this is the coolest way to pop popcorn on the planet. It is a it's an aluminum container with a wooden handle that you spin, and it makes popcorn super quickly. Here's my really old one that I just managed to break. Not because it was badly made, and it could be fixed if I knew how to do anything. But because I popped too much popcorn in it, and then I forced it to go around, and I broke some little piece in here that I bet was plastic, but 99.9% not plastic. All right, those are just a couple things for your zero waste. I think it's a nice thing to aspire to not create toxic waste for ourselves, for our children, for our planet. Plastic is generally not recyclable, even if it is recyclable, which is often not. Like black plastic is almost never recyclable. Anything over the number 3, I think, is almost never recyclable. Even if it is recyclable, I'm getting tired of saying that word, plastic is almost never recycled. So 9% of plastic is recycled. And then when it is recycled, it's not recycled, it's combined with virgin plastic to make new or recycled plastic. So it can't just be recycled. It has to be combined with the new stuff. And then it can never be recycled again after that. You can't recycle plastic repeatedly, unlike aluminum, which is 100% recycled already and 100% recyclable. Same as stainless steel, I'm pretty sure, might be a little more complicated. So, the big oil companies, because everyone's moving to solar and wind, despite Trump's wishes, the world is heading in that direction. It's so much cheaper and easier and cleaner. Domestic jobs, which can't be taken away. Because the world's heading in that direction, big oil is focusing on plastic. They want a 10x, they want a 50x. They want to increase the amount of plastic we're all consuming. So if you look around at your surroundings, whether it's shorts or athletic wear or plastic lined paper coffee cups to go are not paper, they're plastic lined. So you're drinking hot liquid out of plastic. That's not good for your health. Just about everything we look at in the grocery store, just like say 60 years ago, was not plastic. Now everything is. So even the lids at the zero waste place are plastic. They are getting reused and reused and reused again and again, but eventually they'll break. And then that'll be a no-no. So the ideal would be something like this, a ball jar. Or, if you don't need to be fancy, you can just reuse the jars that you already have in your kitchen. I think that's about it. That's about all I got. Oh, here's a shout out for companies like Buonanotte who use cork. So cork is one of the best materials on earth. It comes from a living tree. It doesn't kill the tree. It gives jobs to farmers that are stable, that go for generations. The trees give wildlife habitat. Corks can be recycled or just tossed in your yard or tossed in your plants. They absorb water. They can be made into all kinds of things. Plastic corks are rapidly overtaking this world, and they're awful, and none of those virtues are present. So please support corks. All right, I think that's probably plenty. There's so many tips all over this kitchen because it's kind of a zero-waste vegan kitchen. If you look up zero-waste shop in your town, you can usually find them or sometimes they're just in random places. There is an online company, I forget what they're called. I think they're called Package Free, or anyone know what that's called? Good stuff. Get into it. I do recommend Reddit, Zero Waste Living, Reddit, Plastic Free Living. I think it's actually called Zero Waste and Plastic Free Living, 2 different subreddits on Reddit. We also have a ton of interviews and articles about zero waste stuff on Elephant Journal. Thanks, everyone. Big love to you. Please create a better, kinder, cleaner, happier nature world, and a more eloquent one than mine, instead of a toxic mess of one.